One way of starting with, isn't it?
For God's sake.
Inside the Z4 M40i, hopefully you can hear me clearly, or hear us, because obviously being a roadster, it's always a bit difficult to capture the sound. Now, what do I think of this car? I spent about an hour in the base model 20i this morning, that's about 38,000 pounds on the road. And that actually felt quite good. It wasn't fast, it's only about 200 horsepower, but it felt quite light on its feet and it felt like a really good handling little car. I jumped into this one and it feels quite a bit heavier.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you reckon?
Yes, I drove the 20i this morning as well. Like,
yeah.
I just think, like, because this has more power, do you think that they've kind of tried to match the steering with like the perceived more power or what? I don't know.
I just don't know. Yeah, I think it could be, like you said, yeah, calibration of some description.
Yeah.
Because the steering is overly heavy in sports, which I really don't like, and most of you know that anyway. But when you do drop it back into comfort, it feels a lot better, and you can calibrate sports to have a comfort steering, if that makes sense. I just don't have the time. I can't be bothered, but yeah, it's a great car. It's similar price to my M2 competition, totally different car, similar performance figures, 0 to 60 in 4.5-ish seconds, limited to 155 miles an hour, typical German affair. We've got the B58 under the bonnet, same power output as the 140 and 240, so 335 brake horsepower, and we all know that's about 350 in reality, and that's what it feels like. In a straight line it feels slightly blunted to me compared to a M140 for instance. It doesn't quite have that edge, but Becky's just done her video and you need to go over and check that out as well, and she was actually saying in that it's very planted. It's a very planted feeling car. It's
low and wide and heavy-ish with those lumps in it.
With those lumps, yeah.
Heavier.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just like, it's safe, you know, like it's a sporty car, but it's not designed to really give you that palm sweat that comes from driving something which has you're not going to put it straight to the limit, you know?
No, you're not. You're not. It's not that sort of car, whereas you jump in most M cars, for instance, and they encourage you to go straight to the limit.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's more of a GT car.
Yeah,
it's to be enjoyed. And out here, I mean, this is it's glorious. We're going down this mountainous road, aside from the fact we're following a caravan at the moment. In terms of what's going on in here, so all of the Z4s, including the base model, they come with the new operating system 7, so you've got the full digital dash, which is a bit smaller in this compared to the 3 Series and the 8 Series, and I really like that. It fits, the binnacle sort of fits between the steering wheel really well. You've got all the other it's got the, hey BMW.
Oh no, not this one. Just forget it.
It's a bit difficult. We're wondering, firstly, it learns your voice.
Current weather at desired location.
We didn't ask that!
Yeah, and most of the time it just gives you information that you don't even ask for or you don't want. I think in cars that don't have open top roofs, it probably works a bit better, because obviously in here the sound's a little bit muffled. But yeah, it's got tech like that. It's got reversing assistant. It's got all that sort of stuff that's trickled down from the 8 Series. Which one would I go for? Well, money no object. Obviously, I think we'd both go for the M40i.
I think the 20i is a perfectly decent alternative. If for what you're going to use this car for, which is like pootling around doing this sort of thing, to be honest, I would get the 20i, because it's basically a car that you're sort of running from A to B and just having, quiet drives into the mountains, going for a picnic, just doing nice things or just cruising down Sloane Street.
Yeah.
It's just,
it does everything.
I don't think it needs a big massive grunty engine. It's just there to be enjoyed.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like the first 10 minutes in there, you're like, oh, it's a bit underpowered, doesn't fit. But then you kind of grow to appreciate it, and by the end of the hour that I was in the one this morning, I was like, okay, this makes sense. It's not a car that you're gonna take on a track day. It's not a car you're going to really push. It's just a car. It's a sporty car that gives you everything. It's very comfortable. I was going to say it's very practical. The boot's not massive in this, and there's not much storage going on inside the cabin, like tiny little door pockets.
Yeah, it's not designed to be taken on
long trips.
Yeah.
What this is designed for, it does a very good job. It's a very nice place to sit. It's a nice place to be. The looks are a bit controversial. I know people, a bit like the Supra, which this is sort of in line with and very similar to.
That's a very good point, actually. Now knowing that the Supra is based on this, I'm really excited to drive it.
Yes.
Because obviously the Supra has got, you know, the 1JZ, the 2JZ, like it's just got that phenomenal sort of engine lineage to then go to the Z4 platform.
Yep.
It's going to be very interesting because I've driven Supras and they're an animal.
Yeah.
I'm really interested. Actually, I forgot about that. That'll be really good to get behind the wheel of that and almost compare and contrast. I'm really hoping it's a lot more
sportier. Yeah, a lot more nimble.
Yeah.
You would hope that it feels a lot lighter on its feet and stuff.
Yeah.
Because again, a bit like the 8 Series, you can feel there's massive amounts of weight in this car, but it does control the weight well. But big changes of direction, or when you're coming off the accelerator and onto the brakes, you can feel that mass. You can't make that mass disappear. You can control it, but you can't make it. And that's kind of what this feels like. It feels like it's trying to play catch up all the time with itself, or chasing its tail when you really start pushing it. People that are buying this are not going to be wringing its neck everywhere. They're going to be enjoying out here. They're going to be listening to the lovely 6-pot that does kind of make.
It's perfect.
It's alright, there's a few cracks and pops. Obviously we've got the OPF filters and stuff, so I think they've done a good job with that. Being the B58, it's going to be reasonably economical. Option pack wise, there's a few, but much less than they used to be.
It's just like, it's more succinct. Like the options are quality, but are like a much smaller selection, and they're separated into packs. And these packs are a much better way. Instead of like having to pick from 50 different things, you have like packs of things which all mesh together and make the ergonomics of the car perfect.
Yes.
And you know what? Like, I was thinking a minute ago, we're just too car, you know, like we just like enjoy like sporty stuff more than we would like something like this, and we forget that this is perfect for someone who isn't of our mindset.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. We always jump in something wanting it to be lightway.
I want to drive it upside down. But like, this is great.
Yeah, no, that's you summed that up perfectly well, and I think sometimes I've got to take that cap off and just kind of, you know, place myself in the potential customer's shoes, and what it's built for. I think this one's about 52 grand on the road, and it's pretty much fully loaded. Misano red, I think it is, paintwork.
I think so, yeah. They need to get rid of this fake carbon stuff. That is the only one thing which I will not.
Yeah, that's a bit offensive, especially because it was the same. Looks like the same stuff we had in the 320 yesterday.
It is, yeah.
And
it's like Dinnock. Do you remember Dinnock back in the day?
Yes.
Like I used to wrap everything in my Mark IV Golfers. Like all the handle pieces here, like the grab handles and stuff. I just put like layers of this Dinnock shit all over it.
Yes.
And now you're paying 52 grand for it. So
yeah,
who was ahead of the curve and ahead of the game?
You said that in a Jeremy Clarkson way. Was that the point?
Well, oh no.
Oh, okay.
Did I?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Sorry, Becky.
Aspirational.
Yeah. You're almost there. You're going to be in Top Gear in no time.
Oh.
Hey.
That's nice. What?
That's nice. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
That was a Z3 that just went past us.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I'm just stretching out my hammies.
Where it all started.
Stretching my hammies out.
Stretching your hammies out. I'm sure there's lots of questions and things that I haven't covered on this car. To be fair, again, with all these press trips, we've got enough time in them, but it's not like when you've got a car for a few days and you actually learn things, do you? Like, you learn to love things and you learn to hate things when you've had a car for a week or a few weeks.
You still ain't learned how to drive, have you?
I still haven't learned how to drive yet. I'm just figuring it out. And we're stuck on a cat. The roads have been really actually quite busy today, which is a little bit frustrating. I'm going to try and obviously get hold of one of these once they're back on the press fleet in the UK, and I'll do a proper review on it. But treat this more as like a first drive. A taster.
Taster of what's to come.
Taster of what's to come. But I think the bottom line is the 20i is a very good value car at 37-ish grand on the road. I think it's a really good value car because fundamentally you get most of what this car's got. And please make sure to head over and check out Becky's alternative video that I feature in, so obviously you're going to go over there and watch that. And also, big shout out to my new brand, Control and Shift. Please head over to the website, there'll be a link below. Cheers guys, have a good one, see you at the next one. Thank you.